Welcome back. The class of 2023 started writing their final exams a week ago. Pupils have been lamenting the constant power cuts on social media platforms. Power cuts are one of the many challenges that the current class are facing. We speak to Elijah Mhlanga from the Basic Education Department about how they're helping pupils mitigate these challenges. He joins us now via Zoom. Thank you so much, Mr. Mhlanga, for speaking to us this evening on SA Tonight. So the Matric class of 2023 already a week into their exams, a number of papers already written. And it's not just them that are facing challenges around exam time, of course. The other grades will be starting their exams in the next week or two across the board. And it's an incredibly stressful time for learners. And on top of that already stressful time, they're facing issues like load shedding, water cuts, transport challenges, crumbling infrastructure. What are some of the major things that concerns the Department of Education?
Good evening, Andy. Well, this year has been stable. From a curriculum delivery point of view, we have not had instances of stoppages in terms of teaching and learning. So we are comfortable that most, if not all, schools would have finished the set work for the year, and that learners would have also been given an opportunity to do revision and prepare for exams. You're correct. The class of 2023 Matric started on Monday. They just completed the afternoon papers and now H3. So we are looking forward to the second week next week. In the morning, they wrote maths today. We did not receive any reports that would concern us, and we are glad that the exams are going well. Yes, the other grades will also be commencing with their examinations for the end of year. Load shedding has been around with us for some time, and ESCOM does issue their load shedding schedules, which helps us to plan our movements, whether you want to study or you want to go to another place. Getting around town is very difficult because of the traffic jams that arise as a result of the traffic lights that are not working. So there are lots of challenges, even far away from what you want to do when you finally reach your destination. So it's a whole range of challenges, but we remain focused. We remain resolute that the work at hand still needs to be done. We have gone through a lot as a country, and we believe that that resilience that we have since built over time will become very handy at this time, particularly if we are all to support the class of 2023, whether they are in grade R or grade 12, we need to rally behind them.
Let's talk a little bit about some internal constraints. Those are within your control. External constraints like load shedding, for instance, unfortunately, you cannot do much about. Resources, stretched to the max. In some provinces or some areas, there's a
of instability of an SGB leading to a shortage of teachers. The district should intervene. So that's their work, to support schools on a daily basis, to monitor them and make sure that no child is left behind because of any other challenge that may arise in the course of doing business. So that's what they do together with the provincial offices. That's why we have our officials from Pretoria and from the provincial headquarters of the different education departments moving around, looking after schools, making sure that where there are challenges, these are resolved. So we work hard. It's a big system of about 14.3 million children in 25,000 schools. So it needs constant work, constant monitoring. But we believe that the systems that we have are able to tell us if there are challenges that we need to resolve. We may not be able to resolve those challenges immediately on that day, but we put those on our plans and try to resolve them as quickly as possible. But while you're doing that, you also have the current challenges that we've been having, talking about infrastructure, where the weather causes havoc and destroys schools. KZN has been the victim of such. I think about 3 years in succession, schools getting damaged and learners suffering as a result, because there's no immediate budget that allows us to fix these schools the next day after it has been damaged. So there will always be something to talk about. when it comes to school infrastructure, because while we're moving forward to build new structures, repair those that are already existing, we also have to go back and look at those schools that are being damaged through other means. I mean, we have incidents from other provinces where fire just would destroy a school and no one knows what would have taken place. So there are many things that we have to contend with on a daily basis. But at the end of the day, we focus on what we need to do and we continue doing it, because if there's a challenge in one place, the other people in the other place cannot stop, because we need to keep moving, resolve what we can, and keep the work going, because the system, as I said, is huge, and whoever is part of it needs to play their part every day and make sure that we succeed in what we're trying to do.
Understandably, weather events damaging schools, that's something outside of your control. But ongoing maintenance in some areas has in the past been problematic. We've all seen footage of schools with leaky roofs, with insufficient desks, learners sitting 3 to a desk, no blackboard in sight, no textbooks. And we understand that there's a massive backlog. Historic backlog that we need to make up, where sufficient provision of infrastructure has been an ongoing project for the department. Where are we now in terms of taking stock of where the urgent interventions are still required?
You're correct. There's a huge infrastructure backlog which we're dealing with. There's even a conditional grant that is funding available to deal with exactly that. So that is the realization from government, even from National Treasury, that we need funding to resolve some of these issues. And we are doing that. We're building schools. But two things. The first one is that you find that there are people in a school where it wasn't supposed to be occupied by people because it's supposed to move to another one, but people are resisting. Even though we are approaching them to say, let's merge this school with another one. And you find that people are resisting. So some of the schools that you're talking about, which look really bad, it is because of such problems where there are conflicts in terms of what should happen to that school. Because we have also noted that there's a huge movement of people from places where new schools have been built. And then the second thing is that we are building new structures, but those new structures are being vandalized as well. So you find that a school would be in a good condition, but you find that the windows have been broken by the people who are using the school. So we have that huge problem. But we also have the other one where members of the community would come and steal equipment. The latest example is just yesterday in Mpumalanga, where robbers just came in, found learners inside a school on a camp preparing for their Matric exams for today's paper, and they were robbed. And that is just one example of the type of criminality that is now taking place that is affecting education. In other places, the solar panels that we installed in schools to put electricity are stolen as well, and offices broken into, food items from the school nutrition program also taken away, or expensive equipment such as computers and interactive boards. All of those things are stolen, and all those things cost money. No one gets arrested, and we are expected to fix those things. So I'm just sharing some of the challenges that we have to contend with. All the while, we are building new structures which we are monitoring. Our Director General moves around the country every day, every week, to monitor the new structures that are rising in the rural areas where previously there were no appropriate structures for human occupation. So we are doing our best, but at the same time, there are factors that are coming at us that are making the job very difficult. So the plea here is to members of the community to please respect the property, particularly education property, because your children go there every day. So if you steal these things, if you destroy these things, you mean that your children are going to be disadvantaged.
Thank you so much. That is where we're going to have to leave it. That was Elijah Mplanga from the Basic Education Department talking to us a little bit about challenges facing learners as they prepare to write exams. Of course, the matrics already writing their exams. And we see in so many areas of society that rampant criminality is one of the biggest stumbling blocks to growth and progress.